Hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises
unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem al-Chakodash.
I want to say double honor to our apostles who are elders, rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. And just wanted to go over a small portion of the Peter's, just addressing a verse in particular. And this verse is going over the prisoners. All right, so let's get that real quick.
It's 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18. For Yahushai also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust.
So one thing we have to key on is Yahushai has suffered for sins based off of context. We got to deal with context. Can we get that word context in the etymology? I believe it's information surrounding a subject. But context and etymology means something different, but we can get that too through the Spirit.
It's a context, a composition, a chronicle, the entire text of a writing, a joining together, to weave together, broken down to com, meaning with or together, and texir, to weave or to make.
Yeah, it means pretty much to weave together, to connect dots, all right? Certain things connect to each other. So that's why it's line upon line. As a matter of fact, let's get that through the Spirit. We just get the scriptures. Can somebody get the dictionary.com?
For context.
Yeah, Bible Shah.
You want
this is
Isaiah verse?
No, I want him to get that real quick.
Okay. So the dictionary.com definition for context says the parts of a written or spoken statement that precede or follow a specific word or passage, usually influencing its meaning or effect.
Yeah, and that's very important. A word that influences its meaning or effect to a specific subject. Okay.
The second definition says the set of circumstances or facts that surround a particular event, situation, etc.
There you go. So what I like to think about is the spider paragraph thing. When you have the subject and you write a circle, and then you put the legs, and those are the minute subjects. That's context. Okay. The smaller circles that is attached to the main subject is the context. That's the surrounding information that connects to the subject. All right, so let's get that.
It's Isaiah 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
Yeah, here a little and there a little. And this reminds me of this is how I run my boxing class. The beginners, they just learn the jabs, your crosses. They learn how to step forward, step backwards. They learn the slips. But then when you go to the advanced class, you start to learn how to jab and slip, or jab and then slip. Check hooks. You start putting things together. Okay? So it tells you, those that are weaned from the milk. Because when you're in this gospel, you learn that you're Israelite, who the Israelites are. You learn about, salvation and things like that. But then you start connecting precepts and stuff like that, and start showing Jake how to do that once they're weaned from the milk of learning what the basics. Don't eat pork, don't do this, don't do that, and things like that. Okay?
That was into that.
Yep. You got something?
No.
All right, go ahead.
Back in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18. For Yahushai also hath once suffered for sins, the just for the unjust.
Yeah, but he suffered for sins, Yahushua being the just, and he suffered for the unjust. Okay?
That he might bring us to the Most High, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit.
Yeah, the sinful flesh. Let's get that. Which Yahushua was he wasn't he had the sins of Israel on him, but he did no sin. Okay? So let's get that squared away. Yahweh Shai did not sin, but he took on the sins of Israel, because once you get to him being crucified, the Lord, he asked the Lord, why hast thou forsaken me? And that's because he took on the sins of Israel. And Yahweh, which is the supreme being, he is the existing one, that's his name, had turned his back on Yahweh Shai in that moment because of the sins that he took on from Israel as a nation, which was a great thing because it redeemed us back into the fold. Okay, that gave us place of repentance, you know, the proper way, you know, and that's the thing, you know, something that definitely needs to be said, because Yahweh Shai, our big bro, has given us that second chance that, you know, no one would be able to give or was willing to give. Matter of fact, let's get that precept. It's scarcely a man would die for somebody, you know.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, let's get it.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 5, and verse 6. It says, "For when we were yet without strength, in due time Hamashiach died for the ungodly. For scarcely for a righteous man will one die. Yet peradventure for a good man some would even dare to die."
Yep. So, but Yahweh Shai died for us. And so anybody that has a problem or try to undermine the place of Yahweh Shai, you out your mind, man. And it never be respected, because nobody will ever do that, man. I don't care how noble, how well taught you are, how many commandments you keep. Okay? Yahweh Shai deserves his respect. That's why we call upon his name. That's why he is the mediator, and we respect it like that. He ain't no yo play yogurt, ain't no Christ, ain't no Jesus, ain't no none of that. We call upon his name the right way. All right. So this had to set that tone through the spirit.
That's all you want to that, right?
Yeah, that's all I wanted, brother.
This is Romans 8:3. It says, "For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, the Most High sending down his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh."
In the likeness, not that he was sinful in the flesh, in the likeness of sinful flesh. Why is it the likeness of sinful flesh? We'll get that. Let's get the everlasting chains of darkness, Baba Pushai. You can finish that, brother.
And for sin condemns sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh but after the Spirit.
You see? So the Lord came into the same bodies. He didn't come in the form of the original Adam, the body of Adam, where you know you were innocent and you ain't know no good or evil. You know what I'm saying? You didn't come he didn't come in his glory. All right? The new covenant body. All right, because we are not in the new covenant. We're on the bridge of grace right now, headed towards the city of the new covenant. If that makes sense. I'm just, there's no just precepts to back what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like I'm trying to paint a picture. All right, so we're on the bridge of grace, and in reference that fire on the water, the fire and water on both sides, you gotta stay straight, and we're trying to prove ourselves worthy of getting access to that, but we're still in a sinful flesh. And what happened was Yahweh Shai came in the same condition and overcame, so it leaves us hope and without excuse at the same time. For those who break and say, "Oh man, this is too hard," well, Yahweh Shai did it. Okay, it's proof. You can say, "I did it," so I don't want to hear that shit. Not only did I did it, but I did it, and I ain't have to. I did it and I took on y'all sins. I did it for no reason, In essence, not saying it was like vain, but my point is that's like loaning somebody money, you know you ain't gonna get it back. It's almost of that same essence. I'm doing this favor for you, because I'm straight. Like the teachers used to tell me, I got mine, you gotta get yours. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shai ain't do us that, man. He sorrowed with us. Like it was his sorrow. So again, Yahweh Shai deserves all the honor and praise for that, man. So we're going to continue to call upon his name. All right.
Can I get a precept?
Yeah, if I push up.
This is Galatians chapter 2 and verse 20. It says, I am crucified with Hamashiach. Nevertheless, I live. Yet not I, but Hamashiach liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of the Most High.
And that's the type of hope he created. Okay? The nature and culture he created. He restored good nature into us. You know? Jake was just all for self keeping the laws, man. You know? And Jake was in the sinful flesh, and they was trying to act like it's impossible. Once somebody do it, it cancels all that. Oh, I can't do that. Once one nigga do it, it's a wrap. You know, not in reference to you, I was shy, but I'm just saying if you in any situation and you like, man, I can't do this shit, and then you see somebody do it, it leaves you with a place of no excuse. Okay? So when Yahushua came in the flesh and suffered and got the job done, it showed us that we can get the job done in the same condition. And that's why he said we should do greater things. Okay?
It says, who loved me and gave himself for me.
Yep, who loved me and gave himself for us, man. All right? So, let's get back to it.
You want that, Jude?
Everlasting change.
Yeah, no, not yet,
Okay.
because we should have got it a little sooner, but we'll get it. We're still gonna get it though.
It says in the middle of 1 Peter 3 and 18, it says that he might bring us to the Most High, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison, which sometime were disobedient, when once the long suffering of the Most High waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was a preparing, wherein few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water.
Okay, so when the 8 souls, all that was is contextual as well, but we're dealing about him speaking to the spirits in prison. And it's not like he was traveling, speaking to angels in prison. That's what people reference, like it's the Nephilim. He went to go talk to them, like what's that movie? The gold dudes and shit.
Immortals.
The Immortals, like you went down there and had a conversation, like, bro, y'all get right, y'all can come on out, bro. No, he went to talk to Israelites, all right, mainly the Gentiles that were, he was talking to Israel, man. Gentiles, and mainly talking to regular Israelites too, because they was in sin. They was in what? These everlasting chains of darkness, all right, the same everlasting chains of darkness that Yahushua was in, but he overcame it by what? Discipline, all right, by following the Lord's will, man.
Yeah.
And he laid that road to say, all you may not, because our bodies is subject. Let's get there. Our bodies is subject unto sin. Okay, that's the whole thing that people don't get. You think because you saved that you just gonna automatically resist every evil that come your way and you ain't gonna be tempted. Nobody is above temptation, man. Okay? The fact that you are able to be tempted and considering temptation, you avoid. Because angels you can't tempt the angel, man. You can't make an angel go off. Alright?
This is Romans 8 and 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who had subjected the same in hope.
There you go. Y'all got that that Jude? Let's get that Jude.
One more, Salaki.
You go ahead.
It says, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption,
which is the body, the sin, the sinful flesh,
into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High.
Yeah.
Like I said, this corruptible must put on incorruption,
Yep, and that incorruption goes back to what? Let's go to the new covenant, all right? And not only are we going to, the Lord's going to get us out of that sinful nature, the jealousy, what they say, the 7 sins and shit, the
7 deadly sins.
Yeah, like those type of energies, man. You ain't gonna be hating on Jake. You ain't gonna be jealous and murderous, want to steal, gluttonous. our spirits are not going to be like undisciplined, inconsistent. The Lord's going to get rid of that nature. All right, but right now we're in that same flesh, and we're fighting to be disciplined. We're fighting to be focused. We're fighting to not be jealous, and such on and so forth. Okay.
It's Hebrews 8:7. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
Yeah, the first covenant is ultimately the law. All right, but the law was our schoolmaster. It was telling us the right and wrong. But we, being in these bodies, was under the chains of darkness. So it's a struggle to live according to that covenant, man. All right, and that covenant was the same covenant that we agreed to on the mounts. All right, and Moses sprinkled the blood. We made that a covenant by blood, man. All right, we're the only nation that made that covenant by blood, not the heathen, nobody else. That proves that the Lord's only coming for Israel as well. All right, which is a different lesson for a different time.
You kind of explain the next two, so I'll skip down to Hebrews 8:10. It says, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest.
Yeah, so that also proves that we're not in the new covenant, because we wouldn't be doing this lesson right now.
Okay.
All right? We wouldn't have to tell Jake, hey man, you tripping, you bugging out. Wouldn't have to tell nobody nothing. All right? That don't make any sense. You got a house full of chefs, and I gotta make. Hey, you cook that rice right? This is how you cook rice. You wouldn't need no schools if everybody was geniuses. You wouldn't need no gyms, or no personal trainer if everybody was in shape. So why are we still here teaching? Because we're not in the new covenant yet. We're on the bridge of grace, man. Okay.
It says, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back to it. Let's continue on. Sure.
Oh,
that's it to that, right?
Yeah, that's it to that.
Yeah. So I want to get I got a couple precepts that I just wanted to bring out. Let's bring out that the tool that I sent y'all. The brother sent. We're gonna get
This is Psalms.
Yep. Psalms 107.
Psalms 107, verse 10. It says, such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron, because they rebelled against the words of the Most High and contented the counsel of the Most High. Therefore he brought down their heart with labor. They fell down, and there was none to help. Then they cried unto the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses.
You see? Such as sit in darkness and in the what? Shadow of death, being bound by what? In affliction and iron. Okay? Affliction and iron, that's that prison, man.
Yep.
Okay?
So Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1. The Spirit of the Lord Yahweh is upon me, because the Lord had anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. We're preaching good tidings to the meek, because at the end of the day, that prison is just talking about us being in these bodies. But when you're talking about allocating it to that time, you got the Gentiles, you got Jake and their oaths, they're setting their ways, and their ways was created through being in these bodies, man. Looking for a way out, not having faith. You know what I'm saying? Not being bamboozled. Okay, the Lord made man upright, but he sought out many inventions. Okay, again, you can't trick no angel. All right, we're gonna be demigods, if you want to put it that way, because we're gonna have the best of both worlds. We're gonna have the fortitude of angels, the mind okay, the Lord say do this, we're gonna do it in its perfection, and we're gonna be in the flesh. Okay, but it's not gonna be sinful flesh. All right, we're going to have our perfect bodies that are not going to be subject unto sin. The bodies are going to decay and rot out and get bad backs, organ failures. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna live forever. So not only is he going to spiritually cancel the incorruption, but he's also going to physically get rid of the incorruption as well. All right, we're going to be spiritually and physically perfect. All right.
It says, because the Salaki, he had sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
Yeah. Okay. And so let's get Galatians 3:22, Babu Shah.
It's Galatians chapter 3 and verse 22. It says, but the scripture hath concluded all under sin, that the promise by faith of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach might be given to them that believe.
All right, you hear that? So let's read in the NLT, Babu Shah.
NLT, Galatians 3:22. But the scriptures declare that we are all prisoners of sin. So we receive the Most High's promise of freedom only by believing in Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
There you go. We're prisoners of sin because we're in these bodies. And it's subject unto vanity, man. Jake be bugging out in these bodies. You have highs and you have lows in these bodies. You know what I'm saying? When you're in there, when we get in these new bodies, we're going to be like a laser. It's just going to be concentrated forwardness. There ain't going to be no highs and lows. You know, where one day you like doing good, or you get some bread and now you're nice to everybody. No, you're going to be nice when you need to be nice. You're going to be stern when you need to be stern. You're going to do everything in his right moment for his right time, for his right purpose. You're not going to sit here and be fearful and worried about casting out judgment, or fearful if you're, no. Like, the Lord needed me to be strong in these moments, that's what I'm going to be. The Lord needed me to have mercy on somebody, that's what I'm going to be. He needs me to fear him, I'm going to always fear him. You know? Like, Jay, we struggle, we fear man at times, we fear death, you know? But when we get them new bodies, you're gonna fear the Most High. You're gonna fear, that fear is gonna be put on what it needs to be. All right, not struggling with these BS, man. Okay.
Oh, you want more in that Galatians?
Is there more to it?
Nah. It's going back to a point made earlier in the lesson about the law.
Come. I was looking for because it's like
I got a precept in this.
Yeah. Babu Shah.
It's Romans 7:14. It says, "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin." You know, and if you read in the NLT, going into that sold under sin, it says a slave to it. You know, just as we was sold in bondage and things of that nature, we, because of this flesh, is sold under sin. It says, "For that which I do allow not, for what I would, that do I not, but what I hate, that do I." And at the end of the day, because of this flesh, we can't be perfect. All right, like the brother said a couple times, we're on a bridge of grace, going to that new covenant. Now we're rehearsing the righteous acts, you know, and at times we see what happens when we do follow the will of the Lord, but we can't keep it perfect. All right, but we gotta press toward the mark, and we gotta, strive for perfection, to our best ability.
Can we get Romans 7:14?
I just read it.
Oh, you just read it? Oh, that's
Yeah.
the spirit. That's the spirit, because I was going to ask for that next. So that's to summarize it again.
You want me to read it again?
Yeah, Babu Shah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read this other one. You go ahead, though, brother.
Romans 7:14. "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin."
Yeah, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Can we get that word sold?
You get that word sold. It goes into Strong's G 4097. It says to sell, a price, one into slavery, of the master to whom one is sold as a slave. Metaphor, sold under sin, entirely under the control of the love of sin.
That's a prison, man. You're entirely under the control of something.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like if you put yourself in a prison, in order to sustain and survive, you gotta do what? You gotta do the things as prisoners. You gotta eat the food that they give you, lay on the beds that they provide for you,
Get
go
up
to
when
sleep.
they tell you to get up, go to sleep. You know,
Because
yep. We almost, because our bodies are it kind of leaves you with no options. But we're resisting, and our resisting proves our level of faith and belief.
Yeah.
You know, because nature would tell you, like, nah, you don't got to do that. And our bodies, the bodies we're in, are resistant to the right way of God's nature, but it's more into the flesh of nature, if that makes sense. You see a big booty, oh man, I want that. You smell something, some food tastes good, oh, I want that. All right? But the law say that's pork. Or the law say she's married. And now you're striving against that. But when you're in the new bodies, in the new covenant, you're going to see and be like, oh, that man, she married, man. And you ain't going to, she going to look like a married woman. Not a fine woman. She's going to look like a married woman. All right? That food going to look like pork. You know? Where there's never going to be a plate of pork in the kingdom of heaven, ever. Let me find out. Lord's will, I'm a part of that double, but you get the sentiment. Because the Israelites are going to be ruling, and ain't going to be, the whole world ain't going to be eating pork and lobster and all that BS no more. Okay? Voodoo, Christianity. All right? Mama told me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, all that's going to go away, man. The Lord's going to destroy, you know, all that evil that's in the world. All right? But we're preaching to the prisoners as well, because we're giving them that hope and telling them, as the scriptures say, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And that's ultimately where we're trying to go. Did you have something?
Oh yeah, just to land back off what you were saying, because the scriptures tell us that in the Wisdom of Solomon, righteousness is immortal, and then it says in 2 Peter, where the kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. So that's showing that when that kingdom is set, that kingdom of Yahushua is set up, ain't gonna be none of that. Like the brother was saying, ain't gonna be none of that. It's not gonna be an issue.
He's freeing us for these prisons, which is these bodies, and us teaching to the prisoners is pretty much teaching to Jake that's still in the world. All right, teaching to the Gentiles. All right, Israelites in the Gentile state of mind. All right, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that are battling with the world, man. All right, and battling with themselves ultimately, because really, when you're in the world, you're in the world. All right, so it's a battle for us as individuals, seeking counsel with each other. You know, you're speaking to those in prison, that which again, this is in the sinful flesh. All right, at that time, Jake was dealing with not only being in the flesh, but you're dealing with your gluteus maximus, burning ham hocks into Zeus and shit, and you know that's your only source of protein. You know, I ain't gonna say ham hocks, probably burning beef, because I'm quite sure Jake, you know, rejected at some type of level. All right, but that's the thing, is that they may have been eating pork. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing they was able to eat, and it's like, hey, don't judge them. You know. But we don't know. I highly doubt that they were doing that. But you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Jake was going through it, being under these Roman rules, then having traditions. You know, you had tattoos, all kind of shit, man. Jake was going through, and they were fighting. You know, and then on top of that, you talking to Jake that was probably completely bugged out. There's no way that you talk to somebody and they came up to you and pastor you up on the highways and you know, they don't know nothing about what you're talking about, but the Spirit led them up to you and you're teaching them, and they ain't got pork in their belly. You know what I'm saying? That's you off, but I'm teaching you. Is my point. You know, so you could be in the dead of prison. You know, and the Lord will rise you up out of that. The Lord got us up out of sin spiritually. Really, we're spiritually rising upon our feet, and then we're going to physically rise. All right, but we ain't all the way there spiritually, because you still have highs and lows in the spirit, man. Okay? You shouldn't have doubt at all. You shouldn't have worry. None of that, man. You know? Hey, I was going through a situation, and I had a dream. I told the brother the dream. He was like, man, the Lord said, don't worry. And I'm like, man, it was relieving. But then I started going through shit, and I started worrying again. Like, and I had to remind myself not to worry. Because we're in these bodies, man.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
why the scriptures say the spirit warred against the flesh. You know, we know what we want to do, but because we in this flesh, we constantly got to resist it. That was a beautiful word that the brother used. And that's what this fight is about, man. And then you got outside forces, that people in their flesh that try to bother you in your flesh. So it's a constant fight, man.
Yeah. You know, like I had a situation where the Lord told me to do one thing, and He said, "Man, hey, take your funds. Don't be spending your funds all crazy. You need to chill out." And then one of my coworkers, I always talk to him about, you know how we spending funds in a fruitless way, not wicked but fruitless. And he's like, "Yo, man, I'm about to go do this," and then I'm like, "Man, I ain't fucking around this week." And he like, "Nah, bro, one more time. I feel like we could really have a blast." And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I have to stick to what my." But it was tempting.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was in the right mindset and the right spirit, what I mean by like 100%, I would have been like, I said no. I wouldn't even been tempted or anything. I wouldn't even have to say I said no. It's just like, nah, bro. I said, and I would have had a way better way of responding.
Yeah.
All right, and that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. But it's a struggle because we're in these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the thing, and we have to understand that. But yeah, that's all we wanted to go over. So with that being said, we're gonna give all praises
unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash.
Double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching in enduring truth, sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.